All right, guys. So, akin to my getting good at the G3 project, obviously getting good with the PDW. The whole idea behind this is in my fantasy LARP world, this actually fits with the 20 round magazine in my Vertex sling bag. And then with a 1 point sling, I could quickly adjust that out and go. Like I said, this is completely fantasy LARP. The longest distance and the biggest building I'm typically in is 110 meters, roughly. So theoretically, would I rather take that shot with this or with my Glock 17 with RMR? Probably this. So it doesn't have to make sense, but that's how I've justified it in my brain. I wanted the smallest AR-15 style platform that is reliable, that can still function, right? So I used to have a law folder on here, about 10,000 rounds on the law folder. It's great, but it's totally different. They're not competing against each other, they're totally different. I could fire this right now, off the sling, tension right here, push forward and fire, right? This is an SBR, e-file is super easy, and $200 is like nothing. So for the privilege of owning the stock and being able to test it, absolutely sweet. Some people asked, there's a little bit of wobble, but you want that so they can deploy really quickly without any issues, right? And then the moment you shoulder it, all of that wiggle goes away, okay? So, got a nightstick, 850 lumen light right here. I got a vertical grip because it is an SBR. I got a crossfire on a Unity height mount. And then I have an A2 on here. I do have a bare muzzle nut, but I also have a suppressor for this. But obviously as a bag gun, I wanted a little bit so that for some reason if my hand does come here, I'm not going to instantly blow my hand off. Right? I could, you don't want to shoot like this, and this is pretty solid. I have a place to index my thumb, so I don't feel like I'm going to slip off, but that's why I have the A2 on there, so I don't actually like, oh, whoops, right? So that's how you grip it, prevents it from actually shooting your thumb off, which is great. I could put a magnifier if I really want to, but like I said, I feel comfortable taking a shot, probably out to 200 meters, unmagnified, if the target needs to be shot with just a red dot. So that's why I have it on here. I might go to a lower 1/3 mount, just in the profile's a little bit lower, but this does have the irons, which completely niche, right? But whatever. This is just testing, okay? So I have 3 rounds of, I think, 125 grain Aguila 300 blackout. I'm going to test 20 round PMAG straight OG. Then I'm going to try a 30 round PMAG Gen 2, and then a OK Industries metal magazine. Then I'm going to do subsonic tests for the same exact rounds. That's like, I don't know, like 220 grain subsonics, S&B. So I want to see if it locks back with each one of these, okay? So if it locks back, I'm going to feel pretty comfortable, and then the next test I'll do is I'll put 2 rounds, etc. to test it, because this does have a shortened buffer and bolt carrier, and it was technically designed for 5.56, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to deploy the stock by pushing this button right here. Boom, now it's ready to go. I'm going to charge the weapon. Let's see if it feeds. Okay, it fed. No round in the chamber. No round in the magazine. Let's see if it locks back. Going hot. Remember, the government doesn't want you to know this, but you could just shoot in your barn as long as it's into wood. And it's safe, okay? So my range is outside my barn. Okay, it locked back. Perfect. Let's try the Gen 2 PMAG. All right, 1 round right there. Oop, failure to feed. That might just be because these mags were not designed for blackout. Let's see if I could get it to lock back. It did lock back, but this is the magazine that I thought would fail, because the Gen 2 PMAG is notorious for not working with 300 blackout very well, especially in AR. All right, OK Industries. Oh, I did that implicitly, but insert, pulled, and pushed the bolt release, and it loaded. So far good. And it locked back. Good. So what I want to do now is we're going to do the same exact test, but with 220 grain subsonics. So I'm going to go to worst magazine so far first, which is the Gen 2 PMAG. Then I'm going to do the OK Industry. And then I'm going to do the Gen 1 PMAG. Obviously, this is just to see if it cycles, as well as if it locks back, as well as if it feeds that last round. I will do fully loaded magazine tests after this, once I buy some more ammunition. Because this is such a niche special use gun, I have no problems only keeping like 200 rounds on hand, right? Like 150 rounds of supers and 50 rounds of subs or whatever, right? This is not like a Life and Liberty carbine where you need, you know, 5 to 10,000 rounds, depending on whatever fantasy you prescribe to. All right, let's see if the Gen 2 PMAG feeds. Insert pull. Okay, see right here, it did feed that time. First, supersonic, it did not feed. That felt much better. Not as harsh on my ears, because obviously there's no suppressor on it right now, and it locked back, so that's a dud. That's a win. All right, let's do the OK Industry magazine. Push pull. Loaded. Perfect. Good. Lock back. Good. This is an arrow lower, so it's nothing special. All right, Gen 2 PMAG, let's see. Or this is a Gen 1 20 rounder. Loaded. Wow, those are so much more pleasant than supersonics. So far, looking good. Now that was obviously with the stock deployed and me shouldering it. So I should also test shooting it like the old school MP5Ks, pushing against a 1-point sling, see if the recoil impulse changes the reliability, etc. But as a proof of concept, as well as finding out what works and what doesn't, which those are my 3 type of magazines that I typically have, besides the 20 round metal mags, which I didn't feel like I needed to test because they're all loaded with 77 grain. I'm feeling pretty happy with this. So I hope you guys enjoy that. As the project continues, you'll see more of this.